mind is the birthplace of all creation. Before anything takes form in the tangible world, it must first exist in the unseen realm of thought. Every great achievement, every monumental breakthrough, and every transformation of human life has followed this simple yet profound formula. Think it, believe it, become it. The bridge between where you are and where you desire to be is not built by chance, nor is it governed by external forces. It is shaped by the thoughts you entertain and the beliefs you embrace. The power that moves the world does not reside outside of you, waiting to be stumbled upon. It is within you, awaiting recognition. Those who have grasped this truth have shaped empires, healed the sick, overturned destinies, and defied the impossible. But to those who have dismissed it, life has remained a cycle of struggle, bound by the illusions of limitation. The question is, will you awaken to this truth, or will you continue to live as though your fate is controlled by forces beyond your grasp? Now let us begin. There was a man who lived his days in quiet despair. He woke up each morning to the same routine, walked the same streets, spoke to the same people, and held the same beliefs about himself. He longed for more, but the world around him seemed unyielding. He saw others rise, others achieve, others break free, and he wondered why fortune had overlooked him. But what he did not realize was that he had imprisoned himself. Not with walls of stone, not with iron chains, but with the thoughts he permitted to rule his mind. You see, the greatest deception ever told is that man is at the mercy of circumstances. But what if I told you that all you see, all you experience, all you call reality is merely a reflection of the unseen world within? That the life you live today is not the result of fate, nor the whims of an uncaring universe, but rather the manifestation of the thoughts you have nurtured, the beliefs you have accepted, and the identity you have assumed. Your mind is not a passive observer. It is the architect of your reality. The moment you conceive an idea and accept it as truth, the world begins its silent work of bringing it into form. Every great inventor, every leader, every visionary throughout history has understood this. Reality does not create thought. Thought creates reality. The unseen is the only birthplace of the seen. But mere thinking is not enough. How many have dreamed of wealth while drowning in fear of poverty? How many have imagined success yet surrendered to the belief that they were born to struggle? Thought, when left unsupported by belief, is like a seed cast upon barren ground. It may hold the potential of a mighty tree, but without the soil of conviction, it shall never take root. You must believe with the certainty of one who has already received, not with a distant hope, not with a wish that trembles in doubt, but with the unwavering knowing that it is already done. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It only knows to bring forth that which it is fed. Hold an idea long enough, believe in it deeply enough, and the universe will bow to your assumption. This is where most falter. They look upon their current conditions, their struggles, their failures, and allow these temporary shadows to dictate their belief. They say, "How can I believe I am rich when my pockets are empty? How can I see myself healed when my body aches? How can I imagine myself loved when loneliness is all I know?" And so they remain bound, prisoners of their senses, worshipping the evidence of the past rather than commanding the future into being. But the one who masters this law, the one who dares to believe beyond sight, moves mountains that others call immovable. They do not wait for proof, they create proof. They do not ask the world for permission, they impose their will upon it. They walk, talk, and live as if what they desire is already theirs, and by the law of creation it must become so. And then a remarkable thing happens. Without force, without struggle, without pleading, the world begins to shift. Doors that once seemed locked swing open. People who were once indifferent become allies. Opportunities that never existed suddenly emerge, and those who once doubted now stand in awe, asking, "How did you do it?" But the answer is simple. You thought it, you believed it, and so you became it. For every person who has risen from the depths of obscurity, there was a moment when they chose to see themselves as something greater. There was a moment when they refused to accept the script life had handed them. And from that moment on, they walked in the reality of their new assumption. Even when no one else could see it, they knew that the world had no choice but to conform to the image they held within. You may ask, what if I fail? But I tell you, the only failure is in not believing. If you dare to persist, if you refuse to waver, if you hold to your vision with the tenacity of one who knows they cannot be denied, then failure is impossible. The world can only mirror what you insist upon as true. If you wish to change your life, do not begin with the outer world. Begin within. See yourself already possessing that which you desire. Feel it as if it were already yours. Walk in the conviction that it is done, and reality will have no choice but to obey. There is no power greater than the one that resides within you. There is no force that can stand against the mind that has made an unshakable decision. The moment you take hold of this truth, the moment you no longer entertain doubt, you will awaken to a world that is but the canvas of your imagination. Think it, believe it, and in the fullness of time you will surely become it. The world you see around you is not fixed. It is not permanent. It is not unyielding. It is clay in the hands of the one who dares to shape it. But most do not know they are the sculptors of their own lives. They believe themselves to be mere spectators, watching helplessly as events unfold, never realizing that the script of their lives was written by their own minds. And so they continue to live in cycles, repeating the same struggles, encountering the same disappointments, bound by the same limitations, never understanding that they alone hold the key to their freedom. Everything begins with thought. Thought is the origin of all things, the seed from which every experience is born. But the tragedy is that most allow their thoughts to be governed by what they see rather than what they desire. They look at their current conditions and think in accordance with them. They see lack and think lack. They see failure and think failure. They see rejection and think they are unworthy. And so their lives become an endless reflection of these thoughts, repeating themselves like a song played on an infinite loop. But the one who awakens to the truth will rise above this. They will refuse to be a servant to circumstance and instead become its master. They will not allow what is to dictate what will be. They will see beyond appearances, beyond temporary conditions, beyond the illusions of limitation, and fix their minds upon the reality they wish to create. And the moment they do, the unseen forces of creation will begin their silent work, rearranging the very fabric of existence to conform to their assumption. To the world, it may seem as though nothing is happening. To the doubters and the skeptics, it may appear that everything remains unchanged. But the wise know better. They know that reality is not bound by time. They understand that just as a seed must first take root in the darkness of the soil before breaking through the earth, so too must the seeds of thought take root in the unseen before they can blossom into tangible form. They do not waver when they see no immediate results. They do not doubt when the evidence of their senses contradicts their vision. They persist, they believe, they know. And in that knowing, transformation begins. It may begin as a whisper, a small shift, an unexpected encounter, a sudden opportunity, a door opening where before there was only a wall. But to the one who understands, these are not coincidences. They are the first ripples of a wave that will soon become unstoppable. But belief must be absolute. It cannot be half-hearted, riddled with doubt, or weakened by fear. A man who believes one moment and doubts the next is like a wave tossed by the wind, never stable, never grounded, never able to command reality to obey. He moves forward only to retreat, builds up only to tear down, creating and uncreating in an endless cycle. And so nothing changes. But the one who stands firm, the one who refuses to entertain any thought contrary to their desire, the one who remains unwavering in their assumption, such a person will see the impossible bow before them. They will witness mountains move, barriers dissolve, and limitations shatter. They will experience what others call miracles, though to them it will be nothing more than the natural outworking of a law they have mastered. For reality is not rigid. It is not dictated by the past, nor confined to the present. It is fluid, ever-changing, ever responsible to the one who commands it with conviction. If you desire wealth, do not merely wish for it, assume it. Walk as one who is already prosperous. Think as one who already possesses abundance. Speak as one whose wealth is undeniable. Feel it as if it were already yours, and reality, bound by its own law, will have no choice but to comply. If you long for love, do not despair in loneliness. Do not seek affection from a place of lack. Do not beg the world for what you believe is missing. Instead, become love itself. See yourself as already cherished, already adored, already overflowing with the love you wish to receive. And the world will mirror it back to you, for it has no other choice. If you desire success, do not see yourself as struggling. Do not think thoughts of hardship. Do not dwell on obstacles. Assume the mindset of one who has already triumphed. See yourself as accomplished. Feel the certainty of victory, and success, like a shadow, will follow wherever you go. But many will say, how can I believe in what I cannot see? How can I feel something that does not yet exist? To this, the answer is simple. All things exist first in the mind before they ever exist in the world. The house you live in, the clothes you wear, the very device you hold in your hands, all of these were once nothing more than thoughts. Unseen, untangible, yet undeniably real in the minds of their creators. Had those creators waited to see before they believed, nothing would have ever come into existence. You must understand that the mind is the true reality. What you accept in consciousness, the world must reflect. It is not a question of if, it is only a matter of when. The moment you claim something as true in your inner world, the wheels of creation begin to turn. But the impatient, the doubtful, the fearful, they disrupt the process. They plant a seed and dig it up before it has had time to grow. They declare their desire, then immediately contradict it with worry and disbelief. And so they remain where they are, not because they lack power, but because they have not yet disciplined their minds. Discipline is key. You must guard your thoughts as though they were precious treasures. You must refuse to entertain anything that contradicts your vision. You must be relentless in your belief, unwavering in your conviction, unshaken by what appears to be. For what appears to be is nothing more than the residue of past thinking, a reflection of an old state of mind. It has no power unless you continue to give it power. The past does not define you. Your history does not dictate your future. Your circumstances do not hold you captive. The only prison that exists is the one you have built within your own mind. But just as you have created it, you can destroy it. Just as you have been bound by limitation, you can be freed by truth. The moment you decide, the moment you choose to think differently, believe differently, assume differently, your world will begin to shift. There is no external force denying you what you desire. There is no cosmic power withholding your dreams. The only thing standing between you and the life you wish to live is the belief that something stands between you and the life you wish to live. Remove the illusion, and you will see that the path has always been open. What will you choose? Will you continue to see yourself as a victim of fate, waiting for life to change before you change? Or will you take hold of the power that has always been yours and command reality to align with your vision? The choice is yours. It has always been yours. Think it, believe it, become it. The greatest mistake a person can make is to assume that their present conditions are permanent. Nothing in this world is fixed, nothing is set in stone, and nothing is beyond change. Every person who has ever risen above their circumstances, who has defied the odds, who has reshaped their destiny, has done so by first reshaping their thoughts. Yet, those who remain trapped in mediocrity are those who allow the evidence of their senses to dictate their beliefs. They say, I will believe it when I see it, never realizing that they will never see it until they first believe it. The mind does not work backward. It does not wait for proof before it acts. It must first assume, first accept, first claim what it desires as already true. Only then does the world begin to move in accordance with that belief. Those who fail to understand this live their lives as servants to circumstance, waiting for something outside of themselves to change before they allow themselves to think differently. But the wise know that it is their thinking that must change first. Most people are unaware of the power they hold. They wake up each morning and immediately fall into the same patterns of thought, the same routines, the same cycles of worry, doubt, and limitation. They look at their surroundings and assume that what they see is only a reflection of what they have been thinking. If they would only dare to change their thoughts, they would witness their world transform before their very eyes. But transformation requires persistence. It requires an unshakable commitment to the unseen. Many begin this journey with excitement, full of hope and expectation, only to abandon it when they do not see immediate results. They plant the seed of a new belief, but uproot it with doubt before it has had the chance to take root. They do not realize that the unseen world is always working, always rearranging itself, always responding to the instructions they give it. If only they would persist, if only they would remain unwavering in their assumption, they would see their desires materialize with mathematical certainty. Reality does not play favorites. It does not bestow its blessings upon some while withholding them from others. It is governed by law, and that law states that whatever you consistently assume to be true must be made manifest. If you assume lack, you will experience lack. If you assume abundance, you will experience abundance. If you assume success, doors will open where before there were only barriers. The world is nothing more than a mirror reflecting back to you the contents of your mind. Some may call this delusion, but the wise call it mastery. For what is reality but a projection of the mind? Every invention, every work of art, every great achievement began as nothing more than a thought. The men and women who have shaped history did not wait for the world to confirm their dreams before they pursued them. They believed in their vision before anyone else could see it. They walked as though they had already become the person they wished to be, and in time the world had no choice but to acknowledge the truth of their assumption. If you desire to change your life, you must begin by changing your self-concept. You cannot hold on to old beliefs and expect a new reality. You cannot think thoughts of failure and expect success. You cannot dwell on the past and expect a different future. The person you believe yourself to be is the person you will become. The way you see yourself determines everything. Your actions, your decisions, your relationships, your opportunities, your very experience of life itself. Most people have never consciously chosen their self-concept. They have accepted it from others, shaped by the words of parents, teachers, peers, and society. They have allowed themselves to be defined by their past mistakes, their failures, their limitations. And so they continue to live out the same patterns, not because they are incapable of change, but because they have never dared to see themselves differently. But the moment you change the way you see yourself, the world must follow. The moment you assume a new identity, everything shifts. You do not need to wait for permission. You do not need to prove yourself to anyone. You only need to decide. If you see yourself as powerful, you will act with power. If you see yourself as successful, success will seek you out. If you see yourself as worthy of love, love will be drawn to you in ways you never imagined. Nothing in your past has the power to define you unless you allow it. The failures, the disappointments, the missed opportunities, these are not indicators of who you are, but reflections of who you once believed yourself to be. The moment you shift your belief, the past loses its grip on you. The moment you decide to see yourself as a new person, the world must reflect that change. But change does not come to the one who merely wishes for it. It does not come to the one who hesitates, who doubts, who looks to the world for proof before believing. It comes to the one who boldly assumes, who steps into their new identity without hesitation, who refuses to be swayed by appearances. It comes to the one who understands that reality is but a canvas upon which the mind paints its vision. What do you see when you look at yourself? Do you see someone who is capable, powerful, limitless? Or do you see someone bound by fear, trapped by circumstance, limited by the past? Your life will always reflect the image you hold of yourself. Change that image and you change everything. There is no force outside of you that determines your fate, no external power that dictates what you can or cannot achieve. The only limits that exist are the ones you have accepted. The only barriers that stand in your way are the ones you have built in your own mind. But just as you have built them, you can tear them down. Just as you have accepted limitation, you can reject it. Just as you have believed in struggle, you can now believe in ease. You are not a victim of fate. You are not at the mercy of chance. You are not here to live a life of mediocrity, to struggle, to wish, to hope without ever seeing your desires fulfilled. You are here to create. You are here to command reality, to shape it according to your will, to live as the master of your own destiny. But you must decide. Will you continue to allow the past to dictate your future? Will you continue to believe in lack, in limitation, in struggle? Or will you take hold of the truth that has always been yours? Will you dare to see yourself as you wish to be, to believe in that vision with unwavering certainty, to step into the reality of your highest self? The moment you decide, the moment you choose to think differently, believe differently, assume differently, everything will change. You do not need to wait, you do not need to seek, you need only to be. The life you desire is already yours. The reality you long for is already waiting. All you must do is claim it, think it, believe it, become it. The mind is the workshop of creation. It is the birthplace of every reality you have ever known. Whether you realize it or not, you are constantly shaping your world with the thoughts you entertain, the beliefs you accept, and the assumptions you hold. Every circumstance, every encounter, every opportunity or obstacle is nothing more than a reflection of the unseen activity of your own consciousness. Yet most live their lives unaware of this truth, moving through the world as if they are mere observers rather than the creators of their experience. They react to life instead of directing it. They allow circumstances to dictate their emotions, never realizing that their emotions are the very forces that shape those circumstances in the first place. To master life, one must master the mind. To master the mind, one must first become aware of it. Most people are not aware of their own habitual patterns of thought. They do not stop to examine the beliefs that govern their lives. They do not question the assumptions that shape their experience. They move through each day carrying the same thoughts they had the day before, responding to life in the same way, expecting things to change while remaining unchanged themselves. But change does not come to those who merely wish for it. It comes to those who assume it, who embody it, who refuse to accept anything less than the reality they desire. The greatest illusion in this world is that things are happening to you. Nothing happens to you. Everything happens through you. Life is not unfolding randomly. It is responding precisely to the state of your mind. If you believe the world is against you, it will be. If you believe opportunities are scarce, they will be. If you believe success is difficult, it will be. But the moment you shift your assumption, the moment you see yourself as one with the very thing you seek, the world will rearrange itself to confirm your belief. There are no exceptions to this law. It does not sometimes work and sometimes fail. It is always in motion, always responding, always shaping the world according to the state of your mind. The only difference between those who succeed and those who struggle is the way they think. The one who succeeds assumes success is natural, inevitable, undeniable. The one who struggles assumes struggle is necessary, unavoidable, a part of life. Neither is more true than the other. Each simply experiences the reflection of their own belief. The mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. It only knows what you accept as true. And whatever you accept as true, whether it is seen or unseen, whether it is rational or irrational, will shape your world accordingly. This is why the most powerful thing you can do is to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, not in hope, not in wishful thinking, but in absolute certainty. The moment you assume something to be true, you give it life. You set into motion the unseen forces that will bring it to pass. You do not need to know how it will happen. You do not need to force circumstances to comply. You only need to persist in your assumption, knowing that reality is bound by law to reflect it. Most people, when faced with challenges, allow themselves to fall into fear, doubt, and worry. They believe their circumstances are real and fixed, and so they reinforce them by continuing to think in alignment with them. But the one who understands the power of assumption does not waver when faced with temporary appearances. He does not allow the outer world to dictate his inner state. He knows that what is seen is only a reflection of what has already been believed, and that by changing his belief, he will inevitably change his world. The process is simple yet most complicated. They ask, "What should I do?" They search for techniques, for methods, for strategies, never realizing that the most powerful thing they can do is simply to assume. The assumption alone is enough. The assumption alone will shift the course of events, will alter the sequence of circumstances, will open doors that seemed locked. But to assume requires discipline. It requires the ability to ignore the evidence of the senses, to persist in belief when all appearances contradict it, to remain faithful to the unseen reality until it takes form. Many will say, "I tried, but nothing happened." But trying is not believing. To try implies doubt, and doubt cancels the assumption. One does not try to be wealthy, one assumes wealth. One does not try to be loved, one assumes love. One does not try to be successful, one assumes success. And the moment the assumption is absolute, the result is inevitable. If you wish to know what you truly believe, look at your life. Your life is nothing more than the reflection of your dominant assumptions. The relationships you have, the opportunities you experience, the financial state you find yourself in, all of these are mirrors showing you the contents of your own mind. If you do not like what you see, change the assumption that created it. Do not fight against circumstances. Do not resist what is. Simply shift your focus, redirect your attention, assume the state you wish to experience, and persist in that assumption until it hardens into fact. Every great person who has ever achieved anything of significance has done so by first assuming their success. They did not wait for the world to confirm their belief, they confirmed it themselves. They saw themselves as victorious before victory was evident. They carried themselves as powerful before power was given to them. They lived in the feeling of accomplishment before the world acknowledged their accomplishment. And because they assumed it absolutely, the world had no choice but to comply. You must do the same. You must walk as though you are already the person you desire to be. You must think, feel, and act from that state, not in an attempt to make it happen, but because you know it is already so. You must refuse to entertain any thought that contradicts your assumption. You must be unshakable in your belief, knowing that the moment you have accepted something as true in your mind, it is only a matter of time before it is reflected in your world. But time should not concern you. The one who understands the law does not measure results by days or weeks. He does not question when it will happen, for he knows it has already happened in the unseen. He remains steadfast in his assumption, unwavering in his conviction, knowing that as surely as the sun rises, his assumption must take form. There is no reality apart from your mind. There is no world outside of your assumption. You are always becoming what you believe yourself to be. You are always shaping your destiny with the thoughts you hold. And at every moment you are given the choice. Will you continue to accept the limitations of the past, or will you step into the truth of your limitless power? The choice is yours. It has always been yours. Think it, believe it, become it. The moment you decide to become something greater than what you are, the entire universe conspires to bring it to pass. But it does not happen by chance, nor does it happen by mere wishing. It happens by the certainty of your assumption. The world is always reflecting back to you the state of your own consciousness, and the moment you shift that state, the outer world must shift with it. Many people struggle because they continue to live in the past. They define themselves by what has been, by what they have seen, by what they have previously experienced. They say, "I have never been wealthy, so I cannot be wealthy." They say, "I have always struggled in relationships, so I will always struggle." They look at their history and use it as evidence to support their limitations. But history is nothing more than a record of past thoughts. If you continue to think the same way, you will continue to experience the same things. If you want a new future, you must become a new person. And to become a new person, you must assume a new state of being. You cannot drag the past into the future and expect change. You cannot continue to tell the same stories about your limitations and expect to break free from them. You must release them completely. You must wipe the slate clean and assume from this moment forward that you are already the person you desire to be. You must think from the place of your fulfilled desire, not from the place of lack. Most people live in a constant state of waiting. They wait for external confirmation before they believe. They wait for opportunities before they take action. They wait for success before they feel successful. But waiting is an admission that you do not yet believe. And if you do not believe, you cannot receive. The only way to bring forth the reality you desire is to assume it as true now, without hesitation, without doubt, without needing proof. The world does not respond to your wishes. It responds to your convictions. It does not respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you believe you already are. If you believe yourself to be poor, you will experience lack, no matter how much effort you put forth. If you believe yourself to be unworthy of love, you will continue to attract experiences that reinforce that belief. If you believe success is difficult, life will confirm that assumption at every turn. But the moment you shift your belief, the entire course of your life changes. You do not need to struggle against what is. You do not need to fight against circumstances. You simply need to step into the consciousness of the person you wish to be, knowing that reality must conform to your assumption. If you assume yourself to be prosperous, prosperity will seek you out. If you assume yourself to be loved, love will manifest in your life effortlessly. If you assume yourself to be successful, success will come in ways you never imagined. Most people do not realize that their assumptions are shaping their destiny. They move through life unconsciously, reacting to circumstances instead of creating them. They think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, repeat the same patterns, never realizing that they are the architects of their own experience. But those who understand the power of assumption take control of their destiny. They do not wait for change. They assume change. They do not wish for transformation. They embody it. Everything you desire is already yours. It is not something you must chase, not something you must struggle to attain. It exists within you, waiting to be claimed. But it can only be claimed through belief. It can only be experienced once you accept it as true. The world cannot give you what you refuse to believe in. It cannot bring you what you deny yourself in consciousness. Many people say, "I will believe it when I see it," but they fail to understand that they will never see it until they first believe it. The order is not reversed. The mind must first accept, first assume, first claim what it desires, before it can be made visible. If you wait for proof before you believe, you will wait forever. But if you dare to believe before the evidence appears, the evidence must come. Faith is not about hoping something might happen. It is the absolute certainty that it already has. It is the unwavering knowing that what you desire is already yours. The moment you claim something in consciousness, it is set into motion. The moment you feel yourself to be what you desire, the world will reflect that truth back to you. There is no need to struggle. There is no need to force. The only thing you must do is align your mind with the reality you wish to experience. Live from that state. Think from that state. Feel from that state. Walk through life as though it is already done, as though nothing more is needed, as though all is unfolding in perfect harmony. And as you do, the world must bend to your assumption. Most people fail because they allow their senses to deceive them. They see temporary appearances and assume them to be permanent. They look at their bank account and assume lack. They look at their relationships and assume struggle. They look at their circumstances and assume limitation. But what they fail to realize is that these appearances are nothing more than reflections of past thinking. And just as they were created by past thoughts, they can be changed by new ones. You are not bound by what is. You are not defined by what has been. You are free in every moment to assume a new reality. You are free to step into a new version of yourself. And the moment you do, the world will shift to accommodate that new assumption. The person you believe yourself to be is the person you will become. If you believe yourself to be powerful, you will experience power. If you believe yourself to be weak, you will experience struggle. If you believe yourself to be worthy, the world will reflect that worth back to you. If you believe yourself to be undeserving, the world will confirm that as well. There are no exceptions to this law. It works with absolute precision, responding only to the state of your mind. If you desire change, stop looking outside of yourself, stop blaming circumstances, stop waiting for something to happen. Instead, take responsibility. Assume the identity of the person you wish to be. Hold firm to that assumption, and do not let it go. Many people start this journey with excitement, But when they do not see immediate results, they fall back into old ways of thinking. They say, "I tried, but it did not work." But the truth is, they did not persist. They did not remain faithful to their assumption. They allowed doubt to creep in, and doubt is the destroyer of manifestation. The only way to bring something into reality is to remain unwavering in your belief. No matter what appears, no matter what circumstances arise, you must hold firm. Every great achievement in history was accomplished by those who refused to accept the world as it was. They saw beyond appearances. They believed in their vision before anyone else did. They acted as though it was already true, even when the world told them it was impossible. And because they persisted, the world had no choice but to align with their assumption. You must do the same. Do not wait, do not hesitate, do not let the opinions of others shake your belief. Assume with absolute certainty that you already are what you desire to be. Live in that state, think from that place, feel from that reality. And as surely as the sun rises, your assumption will become your experience. The moment you shift your mind, the world must shift with you. The moment you change your assumption, reality must conform. There is no force in the universe that can prevent you from becoming what you believe yourself to be. The only question is, will you dare to believe? Will you have the courage to assume? Will you persist in your vision until it hardens into fact? The power is in your hands. It has always been in your hands. You are not at the mercy of fate. You are not at the mercy of chance. You are the creator of your reality, the master of your destiny, the architect of your world. Think it, believe it, become it. The world you see before you is nothing more than the outpicturing of your own consciousness. It is not separate from you, not independent of your mind, not happening to you by forces beyond your control. It is the mirror reflecting your inner state, the grand illusion shaped entirely by the thoughts you hold, the beliefs you entertain, and the assumptions you persist in. The moment you awaken to this truth, you stand at the threshold of infinite power. But power is meaningless without understanding, and understanding is useless without application. Many people hear these words and find them inspiring, yet they continue to live as though they are at the mercy of circumstances. They allow the outer world to dictate their inner state, reacting to conditions rather than creating them. They see a lack of money and assume poverty. They experience rejection and assume unworthiness. They encounter obstacles and assume defeat. But all of these conditions are illusions, mere shadows cast by past thoughts, lingering echoes of old assumptions. And just as they were created by past thinking, they can be undone by new thinking. The mind is like a garden, and every thought is a seed. Most people allow their garden to be overrun with weeds, never realizing that the weeds are of their own planting. They entertain thoughts of fear, doubt, and limitation, and then wonder why their lives are filled with struggle. But the one who understands the creative power of mind takes control of his thoughts. He chooses carefully what he plants in the garden of his consciousness, knowing that whatever he sows, he must reap. If you desire wealth, you must plant the seed of wealth in your mind. If you desire love, you must plant the seed of love in your consciousness. If you desire health, success, joy, peace, or any other good thing, you must first assume its reality in your inner world. For the inner world is the cause, and the outer world is the effect. There is no other way. The mistake most people make is looking to the world for validation. They say, "I will believe I am successful when I see success." But they fail to realize that the world can only show them what they first believe. The sequence must be reversed. You must believe first, assume first, feel first, and only then will the world conform to your assumption. You are not here to wait for the world to change. You are here to change the world by changing yourself. Your imagination is the most powerful tool you possess, yet most people use it against themselves. They imagine failure, disappointment, and struggle, and then they experience these things in their lives. But the same power that can create suffering can also create joy. The same imagination that can picture obstacles can also picture success. The only difference is how you choose to direct your focus. Every moment of your life you are imagining something, believing something, assuming something. The only question is, are you imagining with intention or by habit? Are you assuming what you desire, or are you assuming what you fear? Are you believing in possibilities, or are you believing in limitations? Most people do not think consciously. They allow their minds to be shaped by external conditions, by the opinions of others, by the fears and doubts they have picked up along the way. But the master of life thinks deliberately. He chooses his assumptions carefully. He does not entertain anything that contradicts his vision. If you wish to become something greater, you must first see yourself as greater. If you wish to have more, you must first believe you already have it. This is not a game of pretending. This is not a trick of the mind. This is the fundamental law of creation. You are not separate from what you seek. You are already one with it. The only thing that separates you from your desire is the assumption that you do not yet have it. The moment you dissolve that assumption, the moment you fully claim it as yours in consciousness, the world must align to confirm it. Many people say, I have tried, but nothing changed. But trying is not believing. To try implies uncertainty. It suggests that you are hoping rather than knowing. True assumption leaves no room for doubt. It does not waver, does not question, does not wonder how or when things will happen. It simply accepts the reality of the desired state and lives from that knowing. The moment you stop looking for results and start living in the assumption of your wish fulfilled, the results will come effortlessly. There is no effort in creation. The only effort is in overcoming the old mind, the old beliefs, the old way of thinking. And that effort is not a battle against the world, but a battle within yourself. It is the work of persistence, of refusing to accept appearances that contradict your vision, of holding firm to the assumption that what you desire is already yours. If you can do this, if you can persist despite what the senses show you, despite what the world tells you, despite what old conditioning would have you believe, then nothing is impossible. The greatest secret is that you do not need to become anything. You already are. You do not need to acquire success. You already possess it. You do not need to search for love. It already exists within you. The only thing standing between you and the realization of your desires is the illusion of separation. The belief that you are not yet what you wish to be, the assumption that you must wait, struggle, or prove yourself before you can claim what is already yours. But the truth is simple. The moment you assume it, you become it. The moment you believe it, you embody it. The moment you think from it rather than of it, the world must shift to reflect that assumption. It does not matter what has come before. It does not matter what the past has shown you. The past has no power unless you give it power. The only reality is the one you assume right now. Most people allow their past to dictate their future. They say, this has always been my experience, so it must continue to be my experience. But that is a false assumption, a self-imposed limitation. The past exists only as memory, and memory has no power except the power you give it. If you wish to be free, you must let go of all past identities, all past failures, all past disappointments. You must step fully into the present moment and assume, with absolute certainty, the reality of your desire. You are not bound by history. You are not limited by circumstance. You are as free as you allow yourself to be. And freedom begins in the mind. It begins with the choice to think in alignment with your vision, to believe in your own power, to assume the best and refuse to entertain anything less. There is nothing outside of you that can stop you. There is no force greater than your own assumption. The world cannot impose limitations upon you unless you accept them. Circumstances cannot define you unless you allow them to. Every limitation is self-imposed. Every obstacle is self-created. Every struggle is self-maintained. And just as they were created, they can be dissolved in an instant by a change in assumption. Most people fear change, but change is the very nature of life. It is not something to resist, but something to embrace. And the greatest change you can make is the change in your own consciousness. When you shift your mind, everything shifts. When you assume a new state of being, the world must align to match it. There is no delay in creation, only the delay of belief. If you truly knew that what you desired was already yours, how would you think? How would you feel? How would you act? The answer to those questions is the key to your transformation. Live in that state now, feel the joy of it now, walk with the confidence of it now, and the world will have no choice but to bring it forth. You are the master of your destiny. You are the creator of your reality. You are the architect of your experience. The power has always been in your hands. The choice has always been yours. Think it, believe it, become it.